My name is Holderness. I'm the Coralville City Engineer. Today I'm going to talk about a pervious paver patio that I built at my own home and kind of give you some of the details about that. As you can see, the patio is a beautiful area. It is great for us to enjoy our backyard now. And again, it's a pervious paver patio. We have about an 18-inch rock chamber underneath the bricks here, the pavers, and it's had 2 layers of rock. 1-inch clean washed rock is the base layer, and then a 5/8-inch chip rock above that to kind of set it in. And we did some special provisions with this thing to make sure that we didn't cause any water issues on either the foundation of the house or the outside retaining wall. So I'm going to go over now and kind of look at the foundation wall. So when we built this patio, pervious paver patio, our backyard has a little bit of a slope to it, and so we had to take some precautions to make sure that the water that's in the chamber down below didn't cause any issues with, number 1, our foundation of the house, or number 2, the retaining wall of the patio. So up against the house, we have a 2-level house. The level you see here is the basement level, so it's an at-grade level. But again, we were concerned with undermining the foundation of the house. So what we did was build an earthen kind of a berm against the foundation that was a combination of clay, normal clay on site, and bentonite clay, so that we could make sure that none of the water would get close to the foundation and undermine or soften the foundation of the house. And also we did another berm out against the retaining wall here. The yard is a sloping yard, and so as we had to construct this patio, we had to build a retaining wall. That retaining wall was built out of limestone blocks, large limestone blocks, as you can see, which are very attractive and very functional. And so we also built a clay berm along this foundation of the retaining wall, a combination of on-site clay and bentonite clay, so that again, we kept water away from the wall so that it wouldn't have any drainage or undermining issues. And so basically what we have is kind of a bowl in the middle of the patio where the rock chamber is, and that's where all the water is directed to, and then percolates down into the ground below. As we were designing the patio, we wanted to make sure that we got the maximum efficiency out of it that we could. And so what we did, we were able to bring all the downspouts from all of the roof back to this area in the patio, and we created 2 what may appear to be drains in the floor, but actually they're bubbler systems. So when it rains hard, the rain falls on the roof, goes down the gutters, through the tiles, and come up and actually bubbles up through these 2 bubblers. And I've been watching it when it rains. It bubbles up no more than an inch, inch and a half high to get the water onto the patio surface, and then it'll spread out. It only spreads out about maybe 2 feet wide, and then the water absorbs down through the pervious pavers into the rock chamber and dissolves into the ground, percolates into the ground, and it's gone. We were able to get obviously the back downspouts directly into the rock chamber so that we could get the water from the back half of the roof in the house, but we're also able to, by tiling, tile the water from the front half of the roof around the outside and into this rock chamber as well, so that again we do capture all of the water that falls on the roof on this house into the pervious paver patio. One of the design elements of this patio is to catch all the roof water. It comes down the downspouts from the back or under the tiling from the front, that they are tiled in and they go directly to the bubblers, and then they bubble up through that and across the surface of the patio, so then the water infiltrates down through the surface of the patio. You know, there is no direct connection between the downspouts and the overflow. Our design, our hope is that the design of this was sufficient enough that again everything would percolate into the ground and there'd be no outfall from this. However, you always want to make sure that you design a fail-safe, a little factor of safety. So we did design an outfall pipe, an overflow pipe that would collect the water out of the rock chamber if it would not in fact percolate, and then goes down the hill and discharges to the drainage area down below. So we designed an overflow system that had overflow piping towards the top of the rock chamber in case something malfunctioned there. And so there is a small outlet here at the base of the hill by the drainage way, and so that is where water comes out if it again overflows the system. To my knowledge, I've watched this during numerous rains and there's never been any water discharged from that overflow system. So we're looking at now at the back side of our pervious paver patio. As you can see, we had the retaining wall built with a limestone instead of blocks, and we really like the look and the aesthetic of the limestone. It's kind of a natural feature around this area, and so we're real pleased with the way that it came out, and adds aesthetic to the area as well as being functional. When we talked about building a patio in our backyard, we had two goals in mind. One was to obviously improve the use and the enjoyability of our backyard, but also to help address drainage issues that our neighborhood has. As you can see, we're down in the lower area here in the drainage area, and so during heavy rains there can be some fairly significant water that runs through this area and down towards Northridge Park. And so the second purpose of the pervious paver patio was to reduce our runoff and reduce our contribution to this drainage area. And so by building that, again, we've put all the drains from the roof, so all the roof flow comes to the patio, and it percolates into the ground so that it again minimizes the overland flow that is experienced in our neighborhood. The next thing I'd like to talk about on the patio is the maintenance of the patio, and really it's been very minimal to this point. We basically use a leaf blower to blow the leaves off of it, and around the bubblers you might be able to see there's a little bit of rock, the chip rock that's kind of been washed out when the water bubbles up through it, and so it's very minimal, and we just replace the rock. We have an extra supply of that. We replace the rock in those cracks, and the city of Coralville will reimburse citizens for costs to install best management practices, and the reimbursement rate is up to half of the cost of the function, or $2,000. And so I was able to get those funds to help offset the additional costs of the pervious paver aspect of this project, and it was a great help, and we feel good that not only do we have a great patio here, but we're being environmentally sensitive and decreasing the runoff in our neighborhood. This is the sixth year of the City of Coralville's BMP installation cost share program, and our experience has been that we have installed between 30 and 40 BMP practices per year throughout the city, and so as you can see, as time goes on, that is a lot of practices, and it will make a significant difference in the amount of runoff experienced through our drainage ways in our city. When we decided to build our patio, we did some extensive research on contractors in the area. You know, again, this is a pervious paver patio, and our particular case happens to be on a slope, and so we decided that was something more than we would want to try to handle as individuals. And so we did some research and checked around on landscape contractors that have experience doing this kind of work. You know, this is not like putting pavers in a street or on a flat grade. You know, this is a very delicate, intricate process that someone to do this, you want someone that has experience in this kind of work. And so we checked around and got references from several contractors and got actually bids from 2 contractors to do this work. And we chose a contractor, a local contractor here in the Iowa City area, and they turned out to be just a wonderful contractor, great artisans, great workmanship. Our patio is in the back and is on a slope, and so they used a small skid loader and a small excavator to do this work, and just 2 guys did all this, and they were, again, very good contractor artisans, and we're very pleased with the way the work turned out. But I would recommend that, again, you check out different landscapers and check the references, and talk to multiple folks before you would decide to who you'd want to hire to do a project like this for you on your own property.